Yes, I am streaming early on a Friday, and I will kind of miss doing it late at night. I like that chill down time, right? That comes with the Friday, and I got to quit looking at the mic or looking at the screen. I have been told, I'll tell you what, I'll move my mic over here. Now I can look. I'm having so much trouble with the mic. It's okay. You can hear it fine. Sometimes my voice comes and goes, and that frustrates me. Um, Sometimes I don't get the music right. Anyway, I have no clue how to set up a different setup for the streaming. Have not put a lot of serious thought into it. It seems like my serious thoughts are going into other projects at this point in time in solving problems that I have to solve. So I haven't been doing anything other than coming in and setting up. And the dead giveaway is that I just, went live and then realized that I had to clunk this and do this and put this up. And I'm sure there was a lot of various noises while I was getting ready. The music was there though. Anyway, hubby and I are going to a concert tonight. The group is band group, whatever, is called Straight No Chaser, acoustic vocal group, and starts at 8 o'clock. So we're gonna go after I get ready here. We're gonna go and get. I can see that hair on the camera. That's unbelievable. My shiny silver hair. We're gonna go get something to eat and go to the concert. So there was my streaming time, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Very flexible. I can spin anytime, and that's what I'm gonna do. You can see it sitting back there on the table. You can see those things that look like packages of meat on the bed. It's not meat, it's fiber. I have been spending a lot of time getting the fiber packed up and ready for the fiber exchange, and it's going in the mail Monday or Tuesday. I believe Monday. Deadline is the 5th, which is actually Friday, so I'm well within the time frame, and I have lots of time if I need it. I actually only need to process 2 more fibers. 2 more 1 ounces of fibers. Each of those packs is a generous 1 ounce of fiber, and there are 8 packs. Each person will get a pack from 3 people, so there'll be 24 of them that can be open one day each day in December. And I work this out through the other streamer, Snoring Cat Fibers, that I'm part of. I watch a lot and talk, and I know the people there, and that's where we set that up. We went through Discord and everything, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have fun opening them because I definitely will be doing it on stream. And also, my Christmas present is an Advent fiber calendar, and I will be having 24 of those also. So lots and lots of fun. Probably, I spin them right away? Probably not. I probably group them and show them as a group later, that sort of thing, or as we go along, because that is part of the challenge of these small amounts of fiber, what to do and how to spin them and put them together. The 3 people that I'm doing it for, I chose the fibers, and I am trying to make sure I have a little bit of it too, so that I can do a spin with what I put together. It's not going to be exactly like their packs because I'm ending up with leftovers more than 1 ounce, and I want to use it up. So it's going to be the general idea, right? But not exactly like I'm sending. But I will be doing that in January during stream, just trying to put together and see how I put it together, and then we can compare, because people will, of course, later on show how they put theirs together. It's going to be so much fun to see. I have a wonderful tea from Adagio today. It is peach oolong, it smells so good. I haven't sipped yet though. So, it is wonderful. And I probably will be drinking it pretty steadily here because I don't like as tea when it's cooler, right? I like it better when it's warm. I am going to be spinning on the Roberta. I put the new drive band, the little O-ring, big O-ring that drives the bobbin, on at the end of last stream. My one that was on there was holding itself together by a thread. It had split.
Tempur-Pedic and Beautyrest Black mattresses. Ashley Home Store's lowest prices of the season mattress event is going on now. Click the link and save today. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Or I'll just. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But you know what? Hang on. I think I'm going to look for something else here. Maybe not. It does kind of make you wonder when, you know, the thing is all in, the title's all in Japanese, Chinese, whatever those things are. There's Christmas music. Okay, let's go with pretzel. I am not prepared today. That's all right. What should we play today? Piano dominant music. That means they do things other than pianos. So we will do that. I'm going to turn it up just a tad. The music that I get off of YouTube is always louder. I'd like to at least hear that there's something. I never can hear the music. But anyway. So I've got the new band on the Roberta and it's ready to go. The old one that was split, I got out my trusty super glue and I super glued the split together. I am going to try it. If it goes pop on stream, whatever, you know, I'll keep the other one on by close at hand, right? I do plan to be spinning on the Roberta for quite a while right now. The option is the Nano, which I'm also planning to go back and forth between, but both of them are electrics. And this has nothing to do with my physical condition or anything. It is because I don't really have room to bring in the Ashford Traditional in here conveniently. And the Ara needs work. And hubby said he'll take it apart and work on it. And, of course, he's on his own timetable. I don't have much other than nagging him control of that. So I'm going to be spinning on the electric probably through the end of the year. So let's get spinning. All right. These two bobbins look alike. They are the same fiber, but ironically, this bobbin is the 2-ply. This bobbin is what we just spun from the fiber that I'm spinning. Alright. Looks like it's all set up in place. Let me get this band in place. Boy, that's good and tight. They do stretch. Still works, but I bet you it's gonna change the feel of the pull in a little bit. I did a little bit of research on the web about Roberta. My Roberta is very old. What they make now has improvements. Looks the same, but they have a flyer that will take both these small and large bobbins. They also have, it's not a woolly winder, but because you have to advance it yourself, but it is instead of this wood, it is a metal, and a hook is on there, and instead of having all these hooks, you just move it forward. I would love to have that. I would love to have that. The reason I found out that this exists is because when I ordered this drive O-ring from the Woolery, I was looking on their website and they had this little tiny O-ring for Roberta. I know that's shiny. And I thought, well, where the heck is that? I didn't know I had a little tiny O-ring. That's what it looks like. But it was $1.25, and I thought, it doesn't pay. It doesn't hurt to have one around. So I ordered it, and I got to looking today, and there is no place on this Roberta that uses that kind of O-ring. So I went ahead and looked it up, and it is for the metal bar here. The O-ring is what it slides on, right? And I can see that being a little interesting. I'm not sure that it's a quick slide. They also come with a pedal, and I have seen this on others, where you hit it and it pauses, and then you let it up and it goes. I have a spinning friend who has that on her Roberta. So there are improvements to it that I would love to have, but it's not worth the exchange, if that makes sense, right? I would not be able to sell this to get enough that would make it worth buying a new one. And I could be drafting this while I'm working. Anyway, the bulk of what I have been doing is getting these. Hey, Lexi, good morning. It is afternoon for me. The bulk of what I've been working is getting this fiber exchange ready, and I have a table set up in our living room, and of course hubby is walking back and forth in the process of watching while I'm doing this, and he's just, he's like, I don't understand this. So I explained to him, there's 4 in a group. Each person sends to the other 3, and you are the 4th person, and each bit is 1 ounce, and if 3 people send 8 of those, you get 24, which is 1 per every day. And he's like, I don't get it. And he's pretty savvy about a lot of the fiber stuff, but the exchange thing kind of has him bamboozled and not understanding. And so I finally said, well, here's the bottom line. I'm going to get 4 boxes in the mail. Now, this is important in communication with a spouse, because if your spouse is like mine, they are going to say, what did you order? I have found it's best to prepare him as to how many boxes are actually coming. Of course, that doesn't take into account any of the Christmas shopping yet. So, poor man. That's like vegging you. Really? Really? Okay. But who's doing the ordering? That is the bottom line. That's the reason hubby does not order hardly anything online. One, he has a bit of a vision problem and it's hard for him to be online. And two, he doesn't have a hobby that, you need support with purchases periodically online. So he doesn't order much. Right. And I have seen him, we have ordered parts to fix the mower. Exactly, right. He will do that. But anyway, I've learned to live with it. All right, let's spin. The other thing I did over the past 2 days is dyed Rambouillet that came from a fleece that I purchased 2 years ago before everything shut down. And it is a Rambouillet mix, actually, and it was a ram fleece, so there's a lot of it. And I dyed half of what I got out of it with black walnut. And the way I got the black walnut dye was to pick up black walnuts last year, about this time, put them in a plastic kitty litter tub, a big tub, and completely cover them with water and let them soak on the porch all winter. And that's what I dyed it with, and I will be showing that on Sunday because it's right now currently drying, and that is just the first of probably 4 batches that I'll do. And then the rest, there's another batch of Rambouillet, and then there's 2 batches of Cormo. Cormo is going to be harder to process. The locks are tinier and finer, and it's not as sturdy of a fleece as the... So I'm debating about whether to using it with the black walnut or not. Anyway, that went on the stove yesterday, and I followed a dyeing book that basically said once you have the liquid, like I have, that sometimes they get the liquid by boiling it and then letting it cool, pouring it off. But this book was the one that gave me the idea to soak it over the winter. And they said once you have the liquid, then you put your, bring it up to temp, very, not even simmering yet, and wet your wool before you even turn it on. Wet your wool good, and then put your wet wool into that and bring it up to a simmer. You don't boil it, and you let it simmer for an hour, and you turn it off, and you let it cool. And then you bring it up to temp again and let it simmer for another hour. So, I did a simmer in the morning and a simmer right before I went to bed. Turned it off when I went to bed and poured it off this morning. It's interesting that liquid looks black. And you would think that you would get a really super dark dye, but you don't. It's a walnut, very much like walnut colored brown on the white wool. It's a great dye because you don't need any mordant. It's washes off easily, but it is color fast once you get the dye that is just laying on there washed off. And they say some people don't like the smell. I didn't mind it. Even hubby said he didn't mind it. And a lot of times he's the one like, what are you cooking? I'm cooking fiber. Oh, Veggie is off to a fiber festival with her mom. I told her if she finds a fair-priced used loom, she can call me and talk about purchasing it. Now I'm just waiting to see what happens. Oh, I am... that's awesome. Fiber Fair. That's cool. I just went to SAF. That's in Asheville, North Carolina. That was amazing. Solid but mellow tone. What a nice description. Sounds very musical. It is. It's a very good male color. I definitely think that if I could ever get it processed, I will make hat and scarf for hubby. I love the color myself. I should have a lot. I just have no clue what I'll make out of it yet. It's a nice soft wool. And the sheep's name was Bullwinkle. So that's just like wonderful. I loved the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. Do you know that in my life, I have lived many, many places, and I lived in California, and we went to church there, and in the congregation was Mr. Voice of Bullwinkle. He has passed on. His name was Bill Scott. And I'm sure somebody else is doing it now if they're making more, but that was pretty cool. Yeah, we actually got one of the cells from the animation. My ex-husband got it, so I don't have it anymore. But I have the memory. That's all right. What was the old joke? He graduated for, yeah, what's the matter, you? The puns are, I mean, those kind of things are what make those cartoons so much fun, right? And the villains, Natasha, and I'm drawing a blank on the man. Can't think of his name. What's the matter, you? Boris, thank you. Of course. Of course it's Boris. Oh, listen to you, Mr. Trivia Buff. Yeah. Snidely Whiplash, that's right, Fearless Leader. I remember that. Now, Natasha Fatali and Boris Badenoff. I am not good on trivia. I have purposely refused to ever play Trivia Pursuit with anybody. I'll stick to cards, thank you very much. If only you could remember important things. My brain. Here's some information from a cartoon you haven't watched in 20 years at the minimum, but you can't remember why you got up and went to the kitchen. You 100% correct. I go in there. You know, you stand there. What'd I come in here for? That's why we keep cats. They tell us, right? You came in here to feed the cat. My cat was lazy this morning. He stayed in our bed until almost noon. No, I want breakfast. None of that. I think he's all right. I think he's just chilling. Literally, he was warm and comfortable and didn't want to get up. So you think Twitch is going to be overloaded this weekend? People playing spooky games? I watched her the other night. Was last weekend, I think. Whatever that, I don't know what she was playing, but it's that little tiny person trying not to get eaten by the ogres. Oh, really? She was playing that on Mondays. Little Nightmares. Okay. Is this a new to her wheel, or she just finally set it up? I think she's only been spinning on the Nano, right? I missed that. I have not been able to do anything but sleep at night right now. It seems like either the change in weather or I'm so busy during the day I'm knocking myself out. She's had it about a year, just hasn't been doing it on stream, and it got put to the side during our shuffling of furniture, and she hasn't had enough energy to bother getting it out and setting it up. It's hard to get. I mean, I like the Aura because it's a very up and down wheel. If you get a side to side wheel, it's very hard to set that up on a stream. I only have 2 cameras, I know some people have more, but I only have the two. You have the ability to do more, but she is a bit camera shy herself, so she really only needs one cam on the wheel. But the lighting is a beast to figure out because it sort of leans forward by design, so it casts a shadow on itself. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I would have two cameras if I didn't do my face, and I'm getting more and more camera shy all the time. I just never change anything. For a while, and I haven't been spinning before I go to bed, but for a while there I was spinning before I went to bed, and I just set it up with one camera on the spinning wheel. Then it didn't really matter what I wore or anything, except for where you can see my knees. And that was nice. I'd like to get back to spinning before I went to go to bed, but it just hasn't happened right now. I need winter so I can slow down. This is so wonderful to spin, and it spins so nice, and it's going really quick. Hello, it's Dante. How are you? I'm doing good. Happy Friday. You have plans for this big holiday, Halloween weekend? Gonna go to work later today. Tomorrow we have a Halloween party. We want to have one every year. Do you have any plans? I do, but not for Halloween. It just happens that tonight hubby and I are going to a concert. The group is called Straight No Chaser. Looking forward to that. It's male vocal, acoustic, no music with it. At least sometimes, anyway. Hey, all crafty. You're riding down the road. Yeah, acapella. Yeah, acapella. That's thank you. Lexi is my dictionary. Thank you, dictionary. That's where your. Is it from Lexicon? Is that where your name came from? All crafty. Have safe travels. Are you on a trip for visiting or just errand running? We ran errands yesterday in the rain. I'll tell you. It's just wonderful. You go in the store and it's just sprinkling and you come out and it's pouring, or vice versa. It's pouring, you take an umbrella, carry it all around the store, come out and it's not raining. Anyway, got groceries. Yay! There are snacks. We went to a liquor store. Yay, double yay. There's booze. Went to the post office. Oh my goodness. So many errands. I bought my Christmas stamps. Not what I planned to do. I was mailing something, but went ahead and bought them. Oh, crafty. Okay. First of all, lexical is actually a programming reference, which I didn't know. All crafty says trip going back home for a couple days away. Okay. You're knitting on a sock. Lexi says it's in reference to the scope of a variable assignment, which is basically the life of variable, where it starts, where it's accessible, and where it ends or ceases to be accessible. You just wanted to see if I could read that. I know about variables. Variable assignment, I don't know. But I get that sounds very much like computer speak. Oh, well, okay. Assignment is putting the data in the variable, assigning the value, if you will. That makes a lot of sense. I'm just sitting here thinking about the history, my personal history with computers, right? Well, I just yanked that apart. And the changes I've seen. It also sounded good for when I played first-person shooter games, too. I don't get that. Oh, wait, I didn't read above it. Sorry. So if you nest a bunch of functions, the inner function have access to the variables in the outer functions. But if the outer function don't have access to the variables in the inner function, etc., okay. Well, it's smiling on my side. At least you recognize it's a rhino. Thanks, Ixdante. Lexi says, my personal history computers is my entire life. Oh, scope. Okay. Like rifle scopes, which makes good shooter games. Got it. That's what you were referencing. Well, that's good. Because I thought maybe you were shooting the data into the variable. Yeah, I did an overhaul a couple months ago on this main page here, and I'm not happy with it. So what I'm going to do is a Christmas theme here pretty quick and be happy with that for a while, and then I'll decide when I go back in the spring after the holiday what to do. But I've waited and waited and waited to have a Christmas theme on the stream. And I'm going to treat myself to one this year. So here's his lexicon. My parents were given a TRS-80 color computer too when they got married. So when I was a baby, that's what I cut my teeth on, learning my 1, 2, 3s and ABCs. By age 6, I was on a 8088 on DOS. Now DOS I recognize. I don't recognize the 8088. And then we got Windows and a 386 and then a 486 and then the Pentium lines. Then tech really exploded. Yeah, you really did. Right at the same point that it started, you started with it. I cannot remember life pre-computer. Okay, I can, but I have to stop and remember that when my daughter was a baby, we had just gotten our first Apple, I think. One of the really, really early Apples. So anyway, that puts me in my 30s. So there are 30 years before that I'm trying to remember what it was like not having a computer. Well, I remember playing as a kid. I remember all the board games and all of that. That part I got. TV I got, right? That part I remember. Talking to people was a phone call, a landline phone call, and there was no real. A lot of times, if it wasn't really instantaneous, wrote a lot of letters, obviously, instead of emails. So, yeah, can't decide. I like what I got now. I'm happy with computers. I love them. So I'm not a waybacker or whatever that. I'm not a person that wants to go back to the previous life. It's hard to remember. One thing about that's so cool is how global my contacts are and how global it is. I first got into that when I was starting on the podcast, and at the time that I was starting 14 years ago, you didn't reveal who you were or where you were or anything on the internet. You know, it was considered a insecure thing to do. Not insecure, but not safe, an unsafe thing to do. So as that period of time rolled on, I heard from more and more people who listened to the podcast, through emails or comments or whatever, and I started realizing how global that podcast was. I was getting listeners all over the world, and that blew my mind. That was when I first realized how international the internet was and how cool that was. And now on the stream, I don't even consider where the person is or anything like that. It's just I'm assuming that, whatever time of day it is, that's good for them. And I'm glad they're here. Now, I have tried to watch Japanese streams, where I can't understand the chat and all that or what they're saying. Sometimes it works. Most of the time, I am unfortunately unable to experience or touch on any of that globalness. It's like peeking in another part of the world. Uh-oh. Goodness, I have to stop and draft this. It is going on so nice. Of course, I don't have a whole lot to spin here. Now I just said that and I just made a mess here. I don't have a whole bunch of it to spin, so it's looking fast. I like this spinning wheel too. In fact, I'm going to try I brought a fiber, but I realized I don't really want to ply this for another day, so I may have to grab another bobbin, which is not a problem. They were just right over there. Okay, so I'm playing pretzel and it's on a piano music. As I said, mostly piano dominant music. But anyway, the title of the album is Hospital Piano Music. taking a break. As always, I hate to see a fiber come to an end. And I'm always glad that I have another fiber spun. It's such a happy, sad thing. Oh, thank you for stopping in. Miss Dante, take care. Have a great day, great weekend. See you whenever. We are at peak colors here. I meant to mention that earlier. Had enough cold weather in the evenings overnight. We were just a smidge away from frost one night. So we are, over the next week, if the leaves stay on, we're going to be treated to lots of pretty color. If we get a storm with a lot of wind, we may lose a lot of the leaves. I live in a valley and I have hills on either side, which have trees, and the majority of them turn yellows. The occasional vivid reds pop up, but I see that more when I drive because they're just here and there along the route, like when I drive into town or whatever. But they're there now, and we have a lot of trees, but it used to be when I first moved into this place, there was tons of maples around here. They were very old, very tall, and in decline 30 years ago. So they have gradually had to be, they would split and part would come down, and we've gradually had to take these trees down. But they would turn yellow. But they would put out, they'd drop the leaves. The entire area around the house was just blanketed with leaves, and it was something we had to deal with. Couldn't rake, but we could mow them push them progressively forward with the mower to a specific area. And that's generally what we did. They pretty much turned into mulch with the mulching mower. We don't have that as much anymore. Now I just mow what I mow anyway. If there's leaves there, they get mowed, and if there's no, if it's an area I don't mow, they get blown away, or they decompose into mulch. I have a few pictures from those early years with a gray cat that I used to have by the name of Catra, and he was in the leaf pile peeking out. It's one of my favorite photos of cats that I've had over the years. This is it. All is done. Finet. Just gonna have to apply it. All right. Go put this on. I'll be right back, and I'm gonna get some more bobbins. Sorry, I was messing with my teacup. Okay. So what I'm going to spin is going to either be a success, enough of a success that I will continue spinning it, or it will be a failure like it's been with everything else that I've tried to spin this. This is Pima cotton. And Pima is not very long stapled. It is not the shortest. It's sort of that middling. You can get regular cotton that is extremely short. You can get Pima, which is, prime and grown certain areas. The length of the staple on the cotton is determined by what kind of plant you grow, right? Comes out of the bowl based on whatever the genetics are of the plant. Longest staple cotton is Sea Island. And I don't have any of that yet. I just looked online and found out that Woolery carries a pound of Sea Island cotton, and I think it's $35 for the pound, which that's okay. It's white. I can dye it. But I am not going to invest in that just right now. All of this is because when I went to SAF, I took a class on spinning cotton. And I got to spin some of the Sea Island and saw that it was immensely possible. So we were spinning on drop spindles, and I thought when I got home that I've seen any number of people spinning it on electric, and I thought, well, I'll try it on the Nano. I just thought the Nano would be perfect, and it wasn't. Because it is so lightweight that the amount of drafting and pulling you have to do in order to spin the cotton just would jerk the Nano. And also, I needed a lot of pull-in, and the Nano, it's very light pull-in. And so I was setting the drive band to a really high pull-in, and it was just barely chugging along, right? Because it was going against the resistance of that band. So it's not the right spinning wheel for it. I even tried spinning this on a drop spindle. It works. I have a lighter weight. My problem is I have a pound of it, and I don't want to spin a pound on a drop spindle. I just don't want to do that. So, I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do if this doesn't work. I'm thinking it might, because I did spin another braid long years ago of the same cotton blend. It came from the same dyer, right? And I am thinking that I managed to spin 8 ounces of that. So, I'm going to get started with spinning over the fold. That's just to help me get something started here. I have no idea about the pull-in, about the twist, any of that right now. This is just all an experiment. Nope. See? That didn't work at all. Okay. Too much pull-in. Even though I need pull-in. The Roberta without any kind of has tons of pull-in without any kind of dry band over that. All right. So the fiber is folded, but it's not over my finger. And I am getting thick and thin, as you can see. I am getting too much twist. Maybe a little slower. Trying for a lighter touch on the drafting. A little more of a long draw type thing. I am not going to get it thin. It doesn't seem like I can achieve that at all. But it's not breaking. Hard with this little bit left over. This kind of thing is really hard to draft from. I went ahead and folded it again. So straight out, pinch and pull, tiny, tiny, tiny drafting zone. Seems to work. Better than trying a drop spindle. No idea. I don't think I ever used the cotton that I spun before. I remember it's a green. It was called a harvest green. I'm sure it's still up in my yarn stash. I cannot get this smooth. I wonder what would happen if I do this. Not too bad. A lot smoother. I'm petrified it's gonna break. Oh, I wanna pinch and smooth it. Not enough twist. It's falling apart. All right. So I need a little more speed. If I'm going to do it that way. Whoops, see? Totally fell apart. All right. So not enough twist. Wow. All the way around, not enough twist. Guess I'll go back to my pinch and pull. Of course, when you mess with it like this, it just totally untwists. So what I have to do is let a lot of twist run into it before I let it feed onto the bobbin. And that's working. It's still a little thick and thin. I'll change my title under my spinning wheel there in a minute here. Get this finished. This is probably how I spun the other. It's kind of my go-to for short. I also possibly, I cannot remember how I did it, but there is the possibility that I put a spindle on my Ashford. It has a front-loading spindle so that it's kind of like spinning on a great wheel, you know, where you spin off a spindle. I don't know. I haven't spun on the Ashford for so long. It's really good for lace, fine fiber. Just, I don't remember spinning cotton on it. I may have. I'm gonna live with this. It's not too bad. Close your eyes. I'm gonna make something disappear and something new. I better put Tide in there. Let me double check. I have 8 ounces. This is a 4-ounce braid, and what I'm working off of is 4 ounces. So I have 8 ounces. Pound is too much. Still, if I can get each braid on a bobbin, that should be pretty good. There's also, just for the heck of it, I am going to try the other end. I wound that randomly, so I want to make sure there's not a better direction. Oops. For spinning this. Boy, hard to start. My goodness. Well, if anything, I think it's worse. Because I'm getting clumpier. Clumps. Alright. Yeah, it didn't want to draft the other way at all. This one, at least, I can even draft it, pinch and pull. Wouldn't do that. The one thing I cannot do is pre-draft it. Way too short. That's just not going to happen at all if I pre-draft it. Okay. This may not take forever, like I thought. Especially if I make it rustic, which I'm doing. The one thing I don't know is, and I will take a small skein of this and try it, but your natural colored cottons you boil as a finishing step. And I forgot to ask the teacher about, finishing even Sea Island. I'm sure there's information on the internet. I think I have a book by Amos Alden's wife, Stephanie Gustad, on spinning cotton and flax and those fibers. So I can look that up in my library reference. This is pretty compacted though. It's just chunking off here. Not a satisfying spin. All right. I mean, interesting yarn color-wise. That white inside. Drafting well. I think maybe it does need uncompacted just a smidge to flow a little freer. It is fighting me. Plus it's twisted around, so I suppose to do that long draw like that, it kind of needs lined up. Still too much pull in. Wish I had a lighter pull in. it broke finally. Now I'm going to have a whole bunch untwisted here. It's as thick as this getting. I don't think I'll get it all on one bobbin. There's so much twist, it's running back into the roving and or the sliver and twisting it. I'm getting to the point where I can stop it, but come on. Wasn't touching. don't want to stop and move my hook. There we ran out. Oh, well, I don't really need to move it. Okay. God, joins are awful. There is a slash of purple in there. Who knows how that happened? Barber pole. To that person who spun a whole bunch of cotton, and I think it was Pima, you must have had a gorgeous blend, because your cotton looked beautiful. It was on a Discord photo, probably Snoring Cats Discord. EWM, somebody like that. Your cotton was gorgeous, and I can't rival it. I think I could spin cotton like that if it was Sea Island. I had no trouble spinning the sea Island cotton on a drop spindle. It was gorgeous single. I'm going to spin this, and then I'm going to be done with streaming today. So I can go get ready for us to go eat. There's more purple in here than it has to be. The blue is where it hit. The blue hit really hard, fast on the cotton. I don't think the dyer was actually putting purple on it, unless they were sprinkling specks. But oh, it's so thick. Name of this is Sapphire, obviously, for an obvious reason. Alright, the last thing this wants is for the pinch and pull. It just makes it really uneven. I mean, the way I'm drafting is exactly the only way I know to long draw. You know, pulling back works, but eventually you have to move forward, and once you stop pulling back, you get a lump. Getting a little braver here. I know it's not in the camera. So this is a good practice. I don't know how in the world I can get it thinner. I can use up all of it though. You know, it doesn't run out like at the end. I'm not sure I got a lot of good twist on the end, that last bit there though. Oh, and look what it did. It left it on the... I'm gonna twist it some more, I think. right, that's enough of that today, but the verdict is yes, I will be spinning this on the Roberta. Probably for quite a few streams, unless I find time to spin. Alright, I might use it for the meditative ones. Once I get the one I was doing earlier applied, I'll have multiple bottoms. I can go back to forth doing 2 different fibers, different times. So, I will be back on Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I will have a little bit of Rambouillet dyed with black walnut to show off, and who knows what else. Thank you, Lexi, for stopping by and talking today. I really enjoyed talking to you. And everybody else, have a great weekend. I will see you Sunday. Bye.